Hello and welcome to Amigos IAS. I am Adnan. In today's segment, we will be discussing India-ASEAN relations in the backdrop of Prime Minister Modi visiting Jakarta for a two-day visit, a short but very fruitful visit to Jakarta for the Indo-ASEAN Summit of 2023. That was a 20th summit, and it was also having this East Asia Summit alongside. So let us try to understand basically what is this ASEAN. So I will be starting with basic introduction, how ASEAN has come. There will be a lot of factual details. So I'll just be navigating you to the facts. So in beginning, ASEAN's origin started in 1967. So it is nothing but association of Southeast Asian nations. So we have to understand always regional groupings, global groupings from where they are situated, because many countries which are in a particular region, they will align together for pursuing common interest. So we use this word called regional integration. For example, we have organizations like European Union is an organization which promotes regional integration. Similarly, we have organizations like ASEAN, which are concentrated in the Southeast Asia. And then we have organizations like SAARC, which is mostly concentrated in the South Asia. So regional integration helps the countries to promote the shared values and also to pursue common issues. Common agenda can be pursued if they come together. And not only that, they will be having some collective weight in international forum like United Nations, World Trade Organization, etc. That is why this group also has been formed, having the same intentions to have the regional integration of the Southeast Asia. So this was established in Bangkok. That is the place, and the motto for this is one vision, one identity, one community. As you can see, shared values. And 8th August 1967 is the date of formation, and it was formed by Bangkok Declaration. ASEAN Secretariat is in Jakarta, Indonesia. Okay. Basic facts. What is the idea behind ASEAN? Collective will of the nations of Southeast Asia to bind themselves together for friendship, cooperation, joint effort, sacrifices. See, these words will sometimes feel boring because they are very common sense points: shared values, regional integration, peace, prosperity, and also freedom of navigation. We keep hearing these words multiple times, so just hold on with that. We need to write those in the answers. That will fetch good marks. And I'll be also showing you some important initiatives by ASEAN or important groupings within the ASEAN. So, what are the member countries in the beginning of ASEAN? Actually, it was ASA, Association of Southeast Asia, which had Thailand, Philippines, and Malaysia only. So, the idea of ASEAN already came in 1961. And finally, in 67, they will be forming the ASEAN. And the member countries, founding fathers are Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and Philippines. So you can see in this particular thing, Vietnam, Brunei, Laos are not there. They will join later. So in 1990s, membership will be doubling because of the international events, Vietnam War with USA. Okay, and Cold War also ends in 1991. The entire world configuration starts changing, and as a result, some more member countries also will join in this. So Brunei in 1984, Vietnam in 1995, Laos and Myanmar in 1997, Cambodia in 1999. Only factual details. Okay, not much to explain here. So if you see the map here, which is very important for us to understand. So for our analysis part, we need to understand the importance of this ASEAN. So you can see the countries: Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Philippines, and Indonesia. 10 countries are there. And if you see the map here, you can understand the importance, the geostrategic significance of this ASEAN, which is having here Malacca Straits are there, South China Sea is there, okay, Indo-Pacific zone is there. That means it's a confluence of many important geostrategic places, whether it is Malacca Strait, from where the bulk of the world trade happens, apart from the Strait of Hormuz, and there is also Pacific, where there is renewed interest by major world powers, and also South China Sea is also very important geostrategic zone where China has certain issues with the neighboring countries. That means ASEAN is a very important, located in a very important geostrategic space of the globe. So we need to understand why pursuing good relation with ASEAN is very important. So as you can see, in 1995, they have declared a nuclear-free zone. So obviously, cooperation has to be there between the countries. They should have some shared values. They don't want to have nuclear weapons in their zones. In 1997, to promote peace and stability, ASEAN Vision was given 2020, and a very important community, ASEAN Community, was established in 2003. Again, factual details here. And the another important point is ASEAN community has three important community pillars. One is the political security community, other one is economic community, third one is socio-cultural community. And ASEAN has ministerial councils as well. ASEAN has a regional forum. So it's quite a very big organization having multiple subgroups within itself. So let us try to understand what are those important forums. ASEAN Regional Forum. Now this is important because India's engagement with ASEAN starts in 1996. Okay, India becomes a sectoral dialogue partner also with the ASEAN. So ASEAN Regional Forum is a place where they will invite other countries as well, apart from the member countries, to have the discussion on political and security issues and to bring convergence of some important world issues. That is ASEAN Regional Forum. Now, what they ask in the exams are these: ASEAN plus 3, ASEAN plus 6. So you have to make your own formulas or you have to make your own configurations to understand what groups are there within this ASEAN plus 3 and ASEAN plus 6. So ASEAN are 10 countries as we have just seen. For that, if you add China, Japan, and Korea, South Korea, then you will be getting ASEAN plus 3. Fine. So this group started in 1997. That means they want to have certain different subgroups to have certain dialogues concerning those countries itself. Okay. And East Asia Summit is also very important, started in the year 2005. Now, East Asia means what? It is, of course, separate entity, but it has come out of ASEAN, and the focus area of East Asia Summit is the Indo-Pacific zone, or in the past they used to call it as Asia Pacific. Fine. So the USA has included India specific, India specific aspect to the Indo-Pacific, Asia Pacific, because they want to emphasize India's role in the Asia Pacific. So India has become a very important partner for the USA. Fine. So in East Asia Summit, what countries are there? For this, we can have some formula. So what happens basically is, as you know, there is ASEAN. ASEAN is there. How to remember this East Asia Summit countries? ASEAN is there. And for that, you need to add here, see, China, India are neighbors. Japan is, South Korea is there. So India, China, Japan, South Korea. And apart from this, we have the Australia, oceanic island countries, New Zealand. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for this, we need to add also Russia and USA. So that completes our East Asia Summit. In this, India also is member, as you can clearly see. So in this way, you can remember the names of the countries by understanding the geographical aspect. So ASEAN plus 6, ASEAN plus 3, we just have seen China, Japan, and South Korea. But in ASEAN plus 6, countries of India, New Zealand, and Australia also are joining. So ASEAN plus 3 plus India plus Australia plus New Zealand is ASEAN plus 6. Will be asked in the prelims exam sometimes. Fine. This has, of course, a lot of, it has countries, so many countries in the group. So obviously there could be a lot of convergence on many issues. Dynamic energy consumption centers. China, India, ASEAN, emerging Asian economies. Energy demand is going to reach 40% by 2040, and up from 20% to 20. That means as countries grow, as economies grow, definitely they will be in need of energy. That means the world, of course, is going towards sustainable energy initiatives, but even the fossil fuel led energy is also very much in prominence. So energy demand is very high. So that means this particular ASEAN plus 6 can be used as a forum to have energy cooperation between these countries because of their economies. Fine. And what about overview of India and ASEAN relations? This will be coming in the exam in the mains. So every time you have to understand that India specific perspective is important for us with respect to any global group or regional group. So India's Act East policy, in the past it was Look East policy. After the current government has come, they have changed Look East policy to Act East policy. That means we have to now keep having more and more engagement with our eastern neighbors. So India has formed separate mission to ASEAN and East Asia Summit in Jakarta. Fine. So India became sectoral dialogue partner in 1992. Very important point. and then India becomes a full dialogue partner in 1996. So keep sure keep very these points in your mind, very important, because we need to understand how long the engagement has been with ASEAN. Fine, and you can see here the initial years of dialogue partner had interaction with foreign ministers and summit level meetings, which is the highest level meetings with the topmost officials, including the prime ministers, will come and talk. That kind of summit level meetings happened from the 2002. This is also an important fact to remember. Fine. And 20 years of commemorative summit meeting. That means 1992, India became a sectoral dialogue partner. That means we are starting engagement. 1996, ASEAN Regional Forum. 92 is sectoral dialogue partner. Complete in 20 years. In 2012, we have made a strategic partnership which shows the elevation of ties between the countries. Strategic partnership has been there between India and ASEAN since 2012 to commemorate 20-year anniversary and 25 years anniversary. What we have done, see, commemorative summit has been there, and strategic partnership has been extended. Of course, we share this maritime borders with these countries. So what we have done is we want to elevate our ties with ASEAN, not only in trade and commerce, but also we have some common values, like for example, Indo-Pacific has to be free, rules-based order has to be there, navigation is a key concern, and these days we are having more and more issues in vogue, which is environment, disaster management, food security, digital infrastructure. All these are new areas of convergence between India and ASEAN. So we have to step up our engagement with these countries on these forums. Fine. And 30 years of ASEAN-India relations happened in 2022. That means India-ASEAN Friendship Year was declared in 2022. These are all just factual details, students. So let us try to go into other important aspects. ASEAN is an important trading partner for India, fourth largest trading partner. Okay, and we also have a free trade agreement in goods in 2010 and services in 2014. Free trade area does not discriminate between the goods. So we have this free trade area between India and ASEAN as well. And see here, India's trade with ASEAN stands at 10.6% of India's overall trade globally, and our exports to ASEAN are how much? 11.28 percentage. So it's the importance of having good trade relations with ASEAN countries. ASEAN India Business Council was set up in 2003. What is the intention behind this? See here, key private sector players from India and ASEAN countries will have a single platform to discuss and further their respective interests. That means we are trying to make it quite easier for us to engage with the private players to enhance our trade relationship with ASEAN countries. And the next segment here. Now, when Prime Minister Modi has gone to Jakarta for 2-day visit to attend both ASEAN India 20th Summit as well as East Asia Summit. East Asia Summit usually happens on the lines of ASEAN summits. So in this, what kind of initiatives India has proposed is important for us to understand. So 12-point proposal Prime Minister has given. What is the proposal? Let us see here. Establishing multimodal connectivity and economic sorry corridors linking Southeast Asia, India, West Asia, Europe. So we would like to engage having complete connectivity corridor between these countries of Southeast Asia, India, and going towards West Asia and Europe as well. Connectivity is very important for the trade. And next one is sharing India's digital public infrastructure stack with ASEAN partner. That means digital infrastructure connectivity, digital revolution is going on in the world. Connectivity is very important. So India wants to enhance the digital infrastructure with those countries as well. And you can see here, ASEAN India Fund for Digital Future, digital transformation, financial connectivity between the banking institutions. All this has to be enhanced. Renewing support for the Economic and Research Institute of ASEAN and East Asia. This is a think tank basically started in 2008, which focuses on the ASEAN countries' issues. And India also can be using this think tank to renew or to strengthen its relation with ASEAN countries. So India has announced its support for this think tank called ERIA, advocating for raising issues faced by Global South in the multilateral forums. Global South, India aspires to be the leader or the voice of the Global South. So what are the Global South countries? Most of these countries are developing countries and least developed countries. And what are the issues they face? Because of climate change, we are facing issues of environmental disasters, and in trade also, there are many issues countries face Many of these countries are poor, so they need infrastructure, finance, and this is in the hands of the developed countries. So as a result, the voice of global south has to be raised appropriately in international forums, whether it could be UN forum, or whether it could be World Trade Organization, or it could be any institutions of finance like World Bank, IMF. We need to find our voice in this forum and advocate for the rightful position or rightful role of the least developed countries and developing countries. That is an important point. Inviting ASEAN countries, because collective voice plays an important role. Collective weight will matter in the international forum. You can have a collective bargaining in this forum. Fine. So inviting ASEAN countries to join Global Center for Traditional Medicine established by World Health Organization. Yes, in Jamnagar in Gujarat, we have established this traditional medicine center, Global Center for Traditional Medicine, and we are inviting ASEAN countries also because India has traditional medicine, and India is number second in the terms of this Ayurvedic drugs or the medicines. So India wants to increase its potential and also invite cooperation by the ASEAN countries as well. And collaborating on Mission Life, that means at COP26 in Glasgow, Prime Minister has announced this life LIFE, life. What is this Indian initiative? India proposed this lifestyle for environmental sustainability. That means what? We need to protect our environment for ourselves. It's okay. So for that, our lifestyles have to change, because if our lifestyles are resource draining, again the impact will be on us itself. So India is trying to promote sustainable lifestyle. The initiative is called Life, announced in COP26 in Glasgow. Okay, and sharing India's experience in providing affordable and quality medicines through Jan Aushadhi Kendras. So India is also one of the leading exporters of generic medicine. So we would like to utilize our expertise in this and also provide affordable and quality medicines to the ASEAN countries. Fine. Calling for collective action against terrorism, terror financing, and cyber disinformation. These are the most plaguing issues in the modern world. So terrorism remains a concern for every country. It's a international threat which all countries face together. So we need to have cooperation in this. Terror financing also. We need to stop the funding of these terrorist groups. Especially India has been vocal in its criticism against Pakistan because of its support for those organizations or terrorist groups which attack India. So India always plays an important role in calling for end towards terror financing. So FATF is a forum which talks about this. Okay, Financial Action Task Force. It talks about combating money laundering and also combating terrorism. Cyber disinformation also plays a role sometimes, in creating rifts between the countries, and also cyber attacks, cyber terrorism is also a very key concern. Inviting ASEAN countries to join the coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. We have to always adapt ourselves to the disasters. So our infrastructure should be such that we need to have collaboration. We need to have a coalition to share our technology, share finances, so that our infrastructure should be able to withstand any kind of natural disasters. This is an India proposed initiative, just like life. So please keep an eye on that. India proposed initiative, International Solar Alliance also is there. Fine. So please keep an eye on the India specific initiatives for the exam. Promoting cooperation in disaster management. Of course, we have just discussed this point. Maritime safety, security, domain awareness is important because the sea lanes have to be safe. Rules based order has to prevail. That is what is India's concern. More on this, I will just elaborate eventually. Prime Minister also announced, apart from this, what our Prime Minister announced, ASEAN India Fund for Digital Future. Okay, because we have to enhance financial connectivity. Just now I have told this point. To enhance financial connectivity, we are proposing some fund. Okay, ASEAN India Fund for Digital Future. And also just now we discussed ERIA. This is a think tank, okay, which serves as knowledge partner. Why? To deepen the India-ASEAN relations. So India will keep funding or supporting this think tank as well to deepen our relations. Prime Minister highlighted the convergence of visions on Indo-Pacific between India and ASEAN. Now here comes an important analytical point. Because Quad as an organization is there, which also promotes safe Indo-Pacific, and Quad is a grouping which consists of India, USA, Japan, and Australia. Okay, so this grouping is important because it's basically a security grouping which tries to promote free and open Indo-Pacific. Some say that it is a counter to China, but of course, debates will go on. But the point is, yes, of course, containment of China is very important because of its aggressive posturing in the South China Sea and the Pacific zones. Fine. So, what is the vision of ASEAN? ASEAN also has this vision. It supports Quad's vision that we also want a free and open rules based order in the Indo Pacific. Freedom of navigation, freedom of commerce is very important. So ASEAN also supports Quad's vision. So obviously, we also have to be rallying behind the same point. As a member of Quad and as an important dialogue partner of ASEAN, it is essential that we follow the similar point here. Okay, so India also said we have convergence. That means the interest will be uh, converging together. So strengthening multilateralism. Okay, that means no country should be taking decisions by itself. Multilateral order should prevail, and free, open, and rules-based Indo-Pacific on the lines of what? See, UN clause, United Nations, United Nations Conventions on Laws of Sea. We have to follow international laws always. Also, then in Article 50 of our Directive Principles of State Policy, India has to promote good relations between the countries, and India has to respect the international law. And peaceful settlement of disputes is there, which is also the goal of ASEAN, because many of the ASEAN countries also have some disputes. And Indonesian, president has commented after the summit that we need to always engage together and see that the conflicts will not, embroil much. We need to end the conflicts, otherwise we are going to face disasters. So peaceful settlement of disputes means South China Sea. China has issues with the neighboring countries, Vietnam, Philippines, and it tries to say that the entire South China Sea economic zone is China's. So in this context, we have to make sure that the rules-based order should prevail. United Nations Convention of Laws of Seas have to prevail. So India also says effective code of conduct should be there for South China Sea, which aligns with UN clause and considers the interests of the non-involved countries. Also, their interests should be safeguarded. What a point. Fine. So these are the important areas. So if I just summarize at the end of my lecture, what are the issues on which our Prime Minister has focused on during his recent visit is enhancing connectivity between the countries. Maritime cooperation is very important for us to safeguard the sea lanes. Digital transformation, harnessing the current technologies for more connectivity. Trade and economy has to be enhanced, and all the countries should be sharing, helping each other in the form of trade, having free trade areas. Environment, disaster management, health, because environment is because most of these countries are littoral countries. Okay, so they will be facing the problems of climate change more and more dangerous cyclones, typhoons will be coming in these areas. So their infrastructure is up to very vulnerable also. So we have to have cooperation on environment, disaster management, health, traditional medicine as well. Okay, traditional medicine, health, all these are very important. India's vaccine diplomacy is an example for India's soft power. So all these areas are very important points of convergence, I can say. So your answer in main should be focusing on using these particular points. So this is one question for you. India is a member of which among the following? Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, East Asia Summit. So please try to answer this in the comment box below. So that's it from today's class. I'll be coming back to you with another topic. See you. Thank you.